It is cold, cold, cold. And what's better than getting into this winter season and getting into 2025 than setting your business budget? Yes, something that you might have been wanting to do for quite some time, yet you have felt like, I just don't know how to do it. And so what we're going to do in this video is I'm going to walk you through a very powerful way that you can set a business budget in QuickBooks Online. This is going to be a game changer for you because it's going to help you get clear on your financial plan, which is massive. And I'm going to create a separate video that is going to teach you more of the money, like energetic side of how do you actually stick to a budget, right? So right now, this video, it's all about how do we set our budget. I will walk you through some methodology of how do you set it, and I'm going to walk you through how you can use this on QuickBooks Online. If you are not using QuickBooks Online yet, I have a link below so you can sign up. You can test it out. It is such a powerful tool. And if you are not ready to go the accounting route, I also have links where you can record things manually and set up your budget in Google Sheets. Technology is very powerful when you are growing, when you're scaling, when you're looking at your numbers. And if you're not yet there, do check out the links that I have below. All right, let us go. So I'm going to just share my screen right now. And what a beautiful thing. So I'm just going to orient you about how you can actually find this in QuickBooks. So right now you are looking at a sample file. This is the sample file that you're going to see in all the videos. It is Craig's landscaping. Service-based business. I'm not responsible for the numbers. Some of them are wonky. These do not match anything that you are going to do because it's very low in revenue. But for all intents and purposes, is very good to look at. All right, so we are looking at the sample file. If you go to the left-hand side, you are going to see budget, right? And I'm going to then click budget, right? And it's going to take me here of how do you want to set up your budget. So if you are very small business, your QuickBooks isn't set up yet to analyze different units and analyze different things, we are going to do a very simplified way of doing this. So this is what this video is going to look at. So budget type, profit and loss is great, but that is like level 20 in terms of getting clear, right? So if you're watching this video, we don't do balance sheet. We're going to do profit and loss. Let's nail that. Profit and loss versus the balance sheet. Check out some other videos if you're curious about the two. The period is going to be from January to December 2025. This matches the calendar year. So we're going to say it's consolidated. This is looking at it at an organizational level versus subdivided would be looking at it with, different locations, different classes, different departments, right? So much more robust as you are building your business. We can pre-fill the data from the previous year or periods. If you already have been operating your business, you've already got it in QuickBooks, why wouldn't you use actuals and then have an idea about, how do I change this? How do I, build it based off of where we're going, where we're meeting, right? So I'm going to select actuals year to date. And then I am not going to, there's also a section that you can actually import a budget. I'll create another video about that. So we're going to go to next. It's preparing my budget. Let's orient ourselves first about how we're looking at things and how your process would be as you are budgeting. Right? When I like to budget, service-based or product-based, let's just stick with service-based right now, is that when you're service-based or product-based, you've got sales and then the way that you deliver those sales, right? So every time that I budget, I really look first at what are our sales goals here. And sales goals are going to matter related to the different revenue streams that you have. So if you have 3 or 4 different revenue streams, this is where we're going to be putting our sales goals in. We've got this period, we're comparing reference data, and then we can look at it yearly, quarterly, or monthly. What I like to do first is really break out what are our annual goals. And then from there, we can start looking at the month. So here are actuals in 2024. This, I'm just going to orient ourselves. We have income, services, landscaping services, job materials, labor, total labor, landscaping services to get us to a total income amount, right? So this is what we have here. Now here I can adjust if I want to adjust any of these things. First and foremost, I'm not a huge fan of how this chart of accounts is organized. When you organize your chart of accounts, you want it to match what your business is doing and that it's very easy. Now, there's something called job materials. This is a little bit more complicated for landscaping, but really your goal is to track the numbers, but make sense of the numbers, right? You want to make this very strategic. So I just want to test something out and see how it goes to the monthly, because right now we're in the annual view. So let's say I have design income. Our goal, we did 2,500, 2,200 last year. Let's say we are ambitious. We've got some sales plans, right? We know what we're doing. We put it in 10,000. I'm just going to see what that does for the design income in the monthly. Oh, that's interesting. So what it does is it will do our total here. So we've got our totals, and then what it's doing is it's like dividing or straight lining our goals into each of the years, into each of the months. So what it's doing is if I put the 10,000 in design income here, it is monthly now going to 833. Now, if your business is seasonal, if you've got marketing campaigns, whatever your sales strategy is, if you are ramping up, there are many components to seeing if this works. Now, the reason it's important to take time and to do this is that it allows us to make sure that we are cool with cash flow, because we know that cash flow is one of the biggest things we care about in our business. So I'm just going to test this so we can look together. What if I just know that there's 5,000 here? Okay, so then what it does, it's going to adjust the total budget here into revenue. You can decide how you want to play with it. I would suggest looking at it on an annual basis and just getting clear, like that high level CEO of, okay, what did we spend last year? Where are we going? How does this all work? And then you can get more granular into the quarterly or into the monthly, because any adjustment that you make in the monthly will then adjust to those other periods. So that's actually very cool functionality of this budget. So as you go, your process then will be to open this up, get into QuickBooks, and then really get clear about what our items are. And this came up recently with a client. We have to have a reason behind all of these things. For our income accounts, this relates to what our sales and our sales strategy, our marketing activities are going to be, right? We also will start comparing, like, does this actually make sense? So bank charges, commissions, assuming that we already have a plan here, I'm going to increase our revenue significantly. We've got our design income. We don't really want to give so many discounts. Let's say we're really killing it with the decks and patios, usually in the summer. Fountains and gardens, yeah, guys, let's do 25,000. Plants and soil, that's kind of year round, not such a big revenue stream, so let's do 5,000. Right, and sprinklers and drip, they kind of relate to all of these things, so 2,500. Now, again, I'm just playing around here. And then our installation, we also have labor revenue from installs and all that kind of stuff that we're going to rebill. Maintenance and repair, another 2,500. So this gets us up to, in landscaping, 45,000. Pest control services, let's say there's a lot, 5,000. Sales of product income, let's say we're selling a lot of landscaping stuff, and then other services, 5,000. Now, what I don't like about this, and this is a sample file, right? This does not help me make decisions. When you're creating your chart of accounts, you really want it to work with you. So this is, I think, the biggest I'm not okay with is like, how could I make financial decisions running this as the CEO or as the CFO? It just doesn't flow. But basically, we're going from 10,000 to 72,000. Now, if you're doing this in your business, having these really ambitious goals is great. From a money energetics standpoint, can you actually achieve those? From a strategic standpoint, can you actually achieve those, right? So there's two components here, your money mindset and also the systems and the strategy that you have in place. Assuming that we do make this big jump from 10 to 72, there is going to be an understanding of how we're getting those new customers. How did we increase our prices, right? What is the strategy here? So these numbers are great, but this is kind of the final component of you actually doing your budget, doing your sales forecasting, all that stuff, right? So we got 72K. Awesome. So if we know that we're increasing our revenue from 10 to 72K, we're probably going to have a lot more marketing expense. We might need to have more labor, and there's going to be other expenses that we should see increasing, not at the same rate, but that we would have increasing, right? So as you're budgeting and going through that process, you would do this as well, right? So I'm going to say, you know what, we're going to run Yelp ads. I'm going to put 5K in advertising for sure. Fuel, maybe we're doing more trips, so let's double it, but not, let's kind of triple it, but not so, again, you'd actually analyze this. There would be a forecast. You would actually think line by line, why would these numbers change? The goal here is accuracy in your budget. You can always change it every month as you are nuancing, but it's so that you will stick to it and you feel good about it. Commissions, we've got 2,000 in commissions. Subscription fees, we do have to get QuickBooks. We have to do our email marketing. And so those do add up. So let's put that for 1,200 for the year. We've got some insurance and some workers' comp. So let's say 800 and 350. So that's total insurance. And then we've got our labor expenses that we have to pay. And so labor would, just you analyzing these things. We got 5,000. And then we've got all of these actual costs that are related to the job material, right? And so this is an interesting model because construction and landscaping typically are a cost plus model. If you're a service-based business, I would totally suggest going to value-based pricing because that's where it's at. Let's play the game a little bit. You'd look at the job materials and know the percentage, right? If I know that decks and patios, that's 5,000. Well, what's my actual cost here? And so you'd have this information there. We have a very good margin here. I'm going to continue going down. We've got our accounting, we've got our lawyers. Let's keep that the same. Usually you're going to have those kind of annual recurring. Hopefully we don't anticipate any building and repairs. And then we go through this process of all of kind of the SG&A, selling, general, and administrative. One thing I really don't like about this chart of accounts, definitely kind of judgy here, is that we're not really bucketing our sales and marketing. That's really important as you are budgeting to look at your sales and marketing as a category. I like to think of those as growth costs. So any commissions, promotional materials, software related to sales and marketing, this is really important to have. Also, professional legal fees, I like having something that goes with the flow and the expenses of the business. As you do this for yourself, you are going to see. Let's see what this looks like monthly. If you can see it, it's straight lining it and crossing it over into what these things look like. So your goal here is once you've done that annual amount to get into the monthly and dive in. Now, if you are looking at your business in quarters, then you can also look at it here and analyze this. So this would show you the difference. So we've got our budget, so 2024, we've got our budget totals for 2025. We have what our actuals were in Q1, and now we have what our budget is. So if I adjust this, so if I know that I'm going to just say, 2,500. And now if you can see, right, so you have to know where you are going to play around with this. This is now adjusted to 10,000. Let's just play around. And this is now 833 again, right? So it's really important for you to understand your cadence and your methodology. I suggest doing yearly and then going through the monthly. That will give you a very nice insight and then coming to the quarter at the very end. So then how does this all look? Net income is, right? So we've got this monthly net income amount of, let's see, so we got 43. How much do we have in revenue? Let's go really quick. I'm just scanning up. So we got 67,000 right now with all of our adjustments to income. And we have net income for the year of 43, right? We're not really budgeting for taxes. We're not using the profit first methodology here. This is a sample file, but it's very good. And so then I'm going to save this. I just want to show you what would happen. Excellent. And then what are the other options? I'm going to close it, save and close. Right, so now as I get into my budget, then I can start looking at my actual budget to actual going forward in 2025. It is such a powerful tool for you to use if you're using QuickBooks or even if you're thinking about using QuickBooks. Because what's lovely about this is that it has all of the information that you now have decided based off of your strategy, based off of where you want to go. And then as you have your accounting records, which are already synced to everything, it is ultimately getting all of that data in there. And that's beautiful, right? So you can analyze things a lot faster. So if you are ready for this stage in your business, definitely check my link out below to getting started, to the guide, to signing up for QuickBooks. And if you're not yet ready, I also have a budget template that you can use if you're a service-based business that is super easy to use, and it will help you reach your budgeting goals, because budgeting is such an important metric for your business and for your financial growth. What you are measuring, what you are looking at is going to grow, right? Money goes and flows where you're putting your attention to. If you start implementing this into your business effectively, you're going to see a big shift and big change in your cash flow. And cash flow is queen here. It is one of the most important things. So thank you so much. If you like this, if you have questions, please like and comment below. I am excited to create these videos for you. And I really do want to know, what are the questions that you have? How can I support you in your business and reaching your financial goals? Until the next time, I will talk to you later.